BT.
The Enron case takes a dramatic turn. A former Enron executive is shot to death. Police say it appears to be a suicide. The Canadian connection. New information about a terror ring that may be planning suicide attacks. This used to be the Soviet Union. Now it's America's newest military airbase. We take you there. And he was convicted in the hockey dad's manslaughter case. Today, he learned the penalty.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The investigation of the Enron bankruptcy, accounting, and political influence scandal now includes an apparent suicide. A former Enron executive who had warned of questionable corporate accounting practices early last year was found shot to death. J. Clifford Baxter was also one of the executives being sued by shareholders who lost fortunes in the Enron stock manipulation and meltdown. CBS News correspondent Cheryl Atkinson reports on this tragic twist in the Enron case.
Cliff Baxter was found overnight in his Mercedes in his Sugar Land, Texas neighborhood with a gunshot to the head and a note.
We feel that it's a suicide, but we are taking all precautions necessary.
The former Enron vice chairman was 43, married with kids, and caught up in the Enron scandal. He resigned last May after sources say he repeatedly warned CEO Jeff Skilling about the company's accounting schemes. Those warnings were documented in a letter made public last week, written by a senior Enron accountant to CEO Ken Lay. Cliff Baxter complained mightily to former CEO Jeff Skilling and all who would listen about the inappropriateness of our transactions with LJM, one of the Enron partnerships that concealed huge losses and debt. A source who spoke to Baxter just last week said he recounted how he told Skilling over and over, "We're a big company, and big companies don't do these deals." He added, "If I thought it was illegal, I would have pushed it further." Baxter was also one of the executives being sued over profits they made selling off their own stock while allegedly hiding Enron's financial troubles from everyone else. He sold 500,000 shares for $35 million. According to the source, Baxter was worried about civil litigation, which could have ordered him to give the money to shareholders. The same source told Baxter last week he would come out as one of the good guys. Baxter answered, "I don't think anybody is going to come out okay." Baxter is among the half-dozen people we now know gave specific internal warnings about Enron's accounting problems before the bankruptcy. The latest revelation from laid-off manager Margaret Ciccone, who emailed Lay last summer that her division had knowingly misrepresented earnings, moving around hundreds of millions of dollars in losses to seem more profitable. Police haven't released the note found in Cliff Baxter's car, and though there are early indications his death was a suicide, they say it's still too early to rule out other possibilities. Dan?
Cheryl Atkinson live in our CBS News Washington Bureau. President Bush and his administration today took a step toward severing official U.S. government ties with Enron, what's left of it, and his former accounting firm, Arthur Andersen. More difficult may be explaining away Enron's high and powerful political connections to the Bush administration. CBS's John Roberts is live tonight at the White House. John?
Dan, the White House today ordered a review of $70 million in federal contracts awarded to Enron and Arthur Andersen to determine if the firms measure up to government standards. That announcement came as the White House sought to beat back allegations of yet another political link to Enron.
The White House today admitted top political advisor Karl Rove had recommended former Christian Coalition leader Ralph Reed for a consulting job with Enron back in 1997. Though both the White House and Reed today denied it was a quid pro quo for allegiance to George Bush's campaign.
I told him in April of 1997 that if he wanted me to help him, I'd help him. So I didn't need any additional inducement. I was already married.
But one Republican source tells CBS News Reed bragged about signing on to Bush's candidacy, that the campaign was getting him clients, even turned him on to Enron. It's nothing new for campaigns in either party to tie up valuable supporters by placing them with friendly corporations, says Bob Beckel, who managed Walter Mondale's run for president.
Political campaigns, particularly presidential campaigns, and corporations have been taking care of each other for years.
But the collapse of Enron has turned a valuable corporate ally into a big-time liability. Sources say the White House is panicked about the scandal. Some Republicans critical of the administration's ties to Enron have been told to keep quiet. On the Democratic side, powerful senators who received campaign contributions from Enron have pulled the plug on their ties to the energy giant and are now leading hearings into its collapse.
The Enron scandal underscores a little bit more of the trench-level view of how politics in America are conducted and how you must make alliances and arrangements and accommodations with corporations.
Political operatives from the White House to Capitol Hill would like nothing more than for Americans to see this as just a business story. But in a town that literally runs on corporate largesse, it's impossible to ignore or avoid the politics of it. Dan?
John Roberts live at the White House. You may want to note that many Democratic office holders, past and present, are now trying to explain their entanglements with Enron lobbying money. Bob Schieffer will have more about that later. In the war against terrorism, the Justice Department raised another red flag today, a second-round warning, actually, about several men, and one in particular, a Canadian, who may try to carry out a suicide attack on the United States. CBS's Jim Stewart reports a major concern is, what do these men look like now?
Federal agents now have a name to go with that picture of a fugitive al-Qaeda terrorist they released last week. They also have a passport-style photo of him along with a suicide note, plus the picture of a friend who's probably looking to be a martyr as well. Add it all together, and it was enough to warrant another international bulletin today from the Justice Department.
We do not know the whereabouts of these individuals. As a result, we are publicizing their photographs worldwide.
Al-Raouf bin Al-Habib bin Yusuf Al-Jida, it turns out, was born in Tunisia, but is a Canadian citizen and is 36 years old. He trained as an al-Qaeda suicide soldier in Afghanistan where his papers were found, but there was no trace of him. This is what he might look like today, dressed and shaven as a Westerner.
He has black hair, is approximately 5 feet 10 inches tall, and may weigh approximately 220 pounds.
As for the 4 other would-be suicide terrorists whose pictures were released last week, FBI artists also came up with possible new looks for them as well, and again pleaded for the public's help in finding them.
We think that individuals who make suicide videos and write suicide letters are dangerous individuals.
The discovery that one of the 5 is Canadian is particularly troublesome given the fact that al-Qaeda has already tried to launch one terrorist attack from there back during the millennium. U.S. officials say, however, that thus far there is no evidence that any of the men have entered the United States. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
There was some surprising news today about the Afghan war detainees being held on the U.S. Navy base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. During a visit by a U.S. congressional delegation, a Marine general said the 158 men come not from 10 countries, as previously reported, but 25 countries. And one visiting lawmaker said that after they are interrogated, at least some of these detainees may be sent to their home countries for trial. There was never any doubt the mass murder attacks of September 11th would shift the course of history, but few could have suspected they would quickly lead to a robust U.S. military presence in remote parts of Central Asia, long ruled by the now-defunct Soviet Empire. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer is on assignment in Kyrgyzstan.
The new air base in Kyrgyzstan grows a little bigger every day, and already it's made history. Manas Airport is now home to the first U.S.-built base in a former Soviet republic. Right now, the pressure's on to pitch enough tents for 3,000 people. And in a few weeks, American and international coalition planes will fly combat missions to Afghanistan from here, as well as transport humanitarian aid.
Manas International Airport is very strategically located, and it has excellent facilities.
This tiny mountain country also has a cooperative government, which invited the U.S. in even though Kyrgyzstan borders China. And for 70 years, it was a Soviet republic strictly off limits to all American military. Establishing an American military base here in a former Soviet republic was a slap in the face to Russia. But the fact that the Kremlin didn't object is a tacit admission that Russia no longer has the money or the influence to police this volatile region. For the most part, Kyrgyzstan is peaceful, but these moderate Muslims have been terrorized in attacks by Islamic fundamentalists with links to the Taliban. The Kyrgyz government hopes that a U.S. base here will put an end to that threat. But there is a possibility that the base itself could be a target for terrorist attacks. So every day, armed patrols tour neighboring villages.
I have to be honest, though, I didn't know where the place was until a month and a half ago.
Candy? It's partly a public relations exercise and partly intelligence gathering.
Ask him what's in that trailer right there.
But not everyone is this pleased to see the Americans. They're not going to leave, says Parliamentary Deputy Atahan Madamarov. Long-term, the U.S. wants to be able to flex its muscles here on the borders of China, Pakistan, and India, all nuclear powers. Regional politics aside, though, the 300 men and women here are focused on the job of getting this base up and running with all the snags out by April. On assignment in Kyrgyzstan, I'm Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News.
In the Middle East, Israel has responded swiftly to a new suicide bombing. Israeli F-16 fighters fired missiles at Palestinian security offices in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank tonight, just hours after a Palestinian set off a bomb in Tel Aviv, killing himself and wounding at least 24 others. The militant group Islamic Jihad said it was behind the attack, but Israel is holding Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat responsible. President Bush also took Arafat to task today. The president said he is, and I quote, very disappointed that contrary to evidence in U.S. hands, Arafat claims his Palestinian Authority had nothing to do with an illegal shipment of Iranian arms bound for the Palestinian territories. The weapons were intercepted by Israel before they reached their destination. It's the Friday CBS Evening News, and still ahead, sentencing day for the man convicted of killing another hockey dad. Plus, Eye on America. Could or could not the Enron fiasco finally result in some kind of real campaign finance reform?
When your eyes feel dry, irritated, there's Refresh brand eye drops. First, Refresh relieves and soothes, then forms a lasting shield of protection to keep irritation out and moisture in. #1 doctor-recommended Refresh relieves and protects.
Reading to the kids at the library is the highlight of Fred's week. But some days, his COPD keeps him from being there. Chronic bronchitis or emphysema associated with COPD can keep you from doing simple things.
But now taking Ceravent helps me take fuller breaths.
Nothing can reverse COPD, but taking Ceravent twice a day can help improve your lung function around the clock. Ceravent should not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms or be taken more than twice a day. Some people may experience increased blood pressure, heart rate, or changes in heart rhythm. Ceravent is a prescription medicine and may not be right for everyone. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure, or take NAOIs or tricyclic antidepressants. Ask your doctor if Ceravent is right for you.
And start taking fuller breaths.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go. Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
I have to go now.
If an overactive bladder makes you go and go and go, go to your doctor and ask about Detrol LA.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Just one daily dose works for 24 hours to help control bladder contractions that cause those sudden urges and reduces accidents and bathroom visits.
You need a break? Not right now.
Prescription Detrol LA. Individual results may vary. You shouldn't take it if you have certain kinds of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems. The most common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, abdominal pain, and headache.
And I don't have to go right now.
Ask your doctor about Detrol LA for overactive bladder when you've always got to go.
How does your gray beard or mustache reflect on you? Man, I look old. Get vitamin-enriched Just for Men gel. The Rejuvenator, specially made to penetrate coarse gray in 5 minutes and match your hair. The Rejuvenator Just for Men gel.
I'm the bus lady. Some mornings I was so constipated I could hardly drive. Till I tried X-Lax Milk of Magnesia. Stimulant-free. Guaranteed relief by 8 a.m.
Good morning.
X-Lax Milk of Magnesia with the X-Lax Good Morning Guarantee.
In tonight's Eye on America, CBS gives you an in-depth look at the sudden revival of congressional interest in legislation that's been killed more times than Dracula. Legislation for serious campaign finance reform. In the wake of the Enron fiasco, will Congress finally put its boats where its mouth is? CBS News chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has been looking into that question.
Enron headquarters. If you had to pick one place Washington politicians don't want their picture taken, this is it. And the reason why isn't hard to understand.
Basically, Enron screwed a lot of people. And the very people who did this were out trying to buy off a lot of political votes by using corporate treasury money.
That's the embarrassing part for Washington. What used to be its favorite company passed out millions all over town.
They were being generous because they wanted to buy influence, which they got, and they wanted to buy access, which they got.
And they paid plenty, more than $6 million over 10 years. George W. Bush alone got more than $600,000, but money also went to 3/4 of the Senate and almost half the members of the House. The company's influence ran so deep that 212 of the 248 members of the 11 congressional committees now investigating Enron received financial campaign contributions from Enron or their accountant, Arthur Anderson. But here's the twist. When reformers have been trying for years to outlaw these unlimited campaign contributions, finally got the support of 218 House members. That's the number needed to force a vote on campaign reform. They said it was for one reason, congressional embarrassment over Enron. And guess who thinks the legislation could pass? The man who has blocked it in the past, the Republican Speaker of the House.
I would suspect that they have 218 votes, signatures for discharge. You'd have enough to pass the bill.
Reformers take nothing for granted. Real reform followed the Watergate scandal, but after that, whether it was the Keating Five, politicians linked to a crooked investor, or more recently, money raised at Buddhist temples and White House coffees, reforms always fail. This time, it may be different. Politicians are racing to give back their Enron contributions. Texas Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison gave hers to an Enron employee fund.
I will give my entire $100,000 to that fund.
And Florida Congresswoman Corrine Brown says Washington has finally learned its lesson.
It comes across that is something in the milk not clean, and we need to clean up the system.
For sure, it's one big jug of milk, fueled by unlimited, unregulated contributions from corporations and unions. Spending on the last elections topped a staggering $3.2 billion. In Washington, Bob Schieffer for Eye on America.
America's realtors reported today that despite the recession, they sold a record 5.25 million used homes last year. And they were good investments. The median price rose more than 6%. Wall Street today, the Dow up 44 points. The NASDAQ down about 5.
You know when you can't get over something traumatic from your past. You're unable to feel. You get overly startled and may have trouble sleeping. You may even feel like it's happening again. Your daily activities and relationships suffer. You know you just can't put it behind you. Now here's something you may not know. These are some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, a serious medical condition affecting over 13 million Americans. While the cause is unknown, PTSD may be related to an imbalance of naturally occurring chemicals between nerve cells in the brain. Zoloft, a prescription medicine, works to correct this imbalance. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right. Only your doctor can diagnose this anxiety disorder. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking medicines called MAOI shouldn't take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness. Zoloft is not habit-forming. Talk to your doctor about Zoloft, the #1 prescribed brand of its kind. Zoloft. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right.
I take care of myself. As a teacher, I know how important it is to learn as much as possible. So when I read that nearly 40% of women in their 60s have osteoporosis, I asked my doctor.
Ask your doctor about a bone density test and if Fosamax once weekly is right for you. Fosamax is a non-hormonal tablet for the prevention and treatment of postmenopausal osteoporosis. And Fosamax is the only oral therapy proven to help build bone with a once-weekly option. You should not use Fosamax if you have certain disorders of the esophagus, are unable to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes, have severe kidney disease or low blood calcium. Use with caution if you have stomach or digestive problems. Stop taking Fosamax and tell your doctor if you develop new or worsening heartburn, difficult or painful swallowing, or chest pain, because these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems. Ask your doctor for more information about Fosamax once weekly, proven to help build bone.
Nexium.
Nexium.
Nexium. Nexium. People are asking their doctors about it. And if you call 1-800-4-NEXIUM, you'll learn about a free trial offer.
Today's purple pill is Nexium.
Looking for a quiet moment? Get a quieter cookie. Soft, fruit, chewy Fig Newtons. Time out from the everyday crunch.
Was the FBI's legendary J. Edgar Hoover part of a conspiracy to put an innocent man in prison and let a guilty man go free? 60 Minutes, Sunday.
There was news today from the trial that focused national attention on parental violence in children's sports. Earlier this month, the jury found the defendant guilty of beating a fellow hockey dad to death. Today, emotions ran high again as the judge, in effect, threw the book at the defendant. CBS's Mika Brzezinski was at the court in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
A cuffed and shackled Thomas Junta shuffled into the courtroom to face sentencing for killing fellow hockey dad Michael Kostin. For the first time, the man portrayed in trial as a gentle giant sat hunched over and wept. But the judge took no pity and threw the book at him.
It is ordered that Thomas F. Junta serve a committed sentence of 6 to 10 years.
The punishment, up to 10 years, went well beyond the state guidelines of 3 to 5 years for involuntary manslaughter. The judge was swayed by eyewitness accounts that Junta viciously pummeled Kostin during a fight over their son's hockey practice, a fight witnessed by Kostin's kids, including 14-year-old Brendan.
I can still remember being hysterical, trying to wake him up as the blood streamed down his face. I realized I had just witnessed my dad literally getting beat to death.
13-year-old Michael asked the judge to consider his sentence, a future with no father.
No matter how much of a sentence that you give to Thomas Junta, my dad got more. My dad will never be back to me and to my family.
That this was a mutual combat.
Pleading for leniency, defense lawyers argued that Junta was merely reacting to a violent assault initiated by Kostin.
What Tom had no way of knowing was that Michael Kostin was not a reasonable, rational, nonviolent individual.
But the attack on the dead man's character backfired.
These references cheapen the value of human life.
In the end, it was Junta's character that came into play, the judge taking note of his arrest back in 1991 for hitting his wife in front of their kids. Junta's lawyers called the sentence extreme and have already filed an appeal. Mika Brzezinski, CBS News, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
63-year-old school bus driver Otto Nuss is back in Pennsylvania tonight for psychiatric evaluation and to face charges of kidnapping 13 students. Nuss agreed to return from Maryland, where he turned himself in yesterday, after taking the children more than 100 miles to Maryland instead of to their local school. Nuss had a loaded shotgun in his school bus.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recorded sound.
So who is Motor Trend's 2002 Sport Utility of the Year? The GMC Envoy. Those who say America can't compete don't take test drives. We are professional grade.
Whoa, 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 who's got the last laugh now?
Now you can help manage your diabetes anytime, anywhere. This is Glucerna, an ideal food for people with diabetes. Grab a delicious bar as a snack or have a shake as an occasional meal. Glucerna has the right balance of carbohydrates, fat, and protein, and it's clinically proven to help manage glucose levels. Glucerna is specially formulated to free your mind for other things. Try Glucerna. It's time for a taste of freedom.
At Bank of America, we really wanted to participate in the Olympic Winter Games. But in the end, we decided to support the real athletes and stick to the things we do best, like creating the country's largest network of ATMs, so you'll have access to your money at every turn.
Sheila. Josh. Let me in. It's the middle of the night. I'll be quiet. Please. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I gotta have some of this. And our microwave's broke.
Sometimes you gotta have the Mac. Kraft Easy Mac for the hot, cheesy taste they love. Get them the Mac.
Sheila, this tastes so good.
I'm glad you like it.
Need a snack?
Still scratching that itchy scalp? Scratching isn't healthy for it. Maximum Strength Scalpicin promotes a healthier scalp. It stops itching, stops scratching. Clear, odorless, with the medicine doctors recommend. Promote a healthier scalp with Scalpicin.
You say the word glasses and people think stereotype. But you know, it's just the opposite. There are so many chances to become someone new just by changing your glasses. Come into Lens Crafters. You'll see what I mean. Are you lucky enough to need glasses?
Quite a rescue at a Northwest ski resort. The skier dangled from the chairlift. Find out what happened tonight on Coin 6 News at 6.
We want to give you a quick look now what's coming up next week on the CBS Evening News. Number one, the ground beef says USDA inspected, but you still have to be concerned about it. We'll report to you why. Number two, can you imagine misplacing trillions of dollars? The Pentagon did the unimaginable. And then three, before you take the car to the shop, watch as CBS exposes auto repair ripoffs. We end tonight with news from the world of art. He's talented and his work is already drawing cash-paying customers. CBS's Jim Axelrod has a profile of an autistic artist who draws you into his world.
In an old church in upstate New York, a 14-year-old boy is drawing faces, haunting and haunted.
You look at it with a trained eye, and you start pulling some of these things out of his body of work, and you say, oh, my God.
His name is Jonathan Lehrman. Remember it.
Can I have a number one clean off the broiler?
Like other teens, he likes drive-thrus and loves The Simpsons. But there's nothing ordinary about Jonathan Lehrman.
Hey!
Jonathan has autism, an IQ of 53, which would suggest they might want to devise a new way to measure intelligence.
We went from thinking that we had a fairly significantly handicapped child to realizing that we had a gifted child in a period of hours.
While you can talk with Jonathan.
Does he have a name? George. That's George. George? That's George. Where's George from? George's last name is Lester.
George Lester.
GL.
It's something short of conversation. Yet look at the faces. Work of unquestioned eloquence.
It's obviously a face where this person is being ridiculed or laughed at. This is Jonathan. This is Jonathan expressing his feelings.
How good is this kid?
I think everybody's blown away by it.
In Manhattan art circles, where people don't often buy out of sentiment or sympathy.
This one's too good.
Jonathan's work is now fetching up to $2,000 a piece.
It's like a simple white piece of paper, but it's Jonathan's total world, and it seems limitless.
I'm done.
Actually, Jonathan Lehrman is just beginning. Redefining how we think of abilities, disabilities, and the art of the possible. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Vestal, New York.
And that's part of our world. Richard Schlesinger has a preview now of tonight's very interesting 48 Hours.
Twin sisters are accused of murder. Two juries hear the same evidence, so why is only one sister convicted?
There's no way Betty can be guilty if I'm innocent. There's no way I can be innocent if she's guilty.
A 48 Hours mystery tonight.
48 Hours tonight at 10, 9 Central. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
This is CBS.